January 21st, 1944. 0800 hours. Supreme Headquarters Allied Expeditionary Force, London. General Dwight D. Eisenhower studied the intelligence assessment that would determine whether 156,000 Allied soldiers lived or died on the beaches of Normandy. The document outlined Operation Fortitude, the most elaborate military deception in human history. Success meant Allied victory in Europe. Failure meant slaughter under German guns, positioned exactly where the invasion fleet would arrive. His intelligence officers proposed something unprecedented: convince Hitler that a massive Allied army in southeastern England was phantom, while the real invasion force trained elsewhere. The plan required maintaining an impossible lie for 6 months, coordinating dozens of intelligence channels, and betting everything that German intelligence would believe what Allied deception wanted them to believe. Eisenhower held his pen over the authorization that would begin history's greatest strategic deception. Don't forget to subscribe to World War II Untold Stories and like the video for your support. Thank you for subscribing. The strategic situation facing Allied planners in January 1944 presented a brutal calculation. Intelligence from Ultra, Bletchley Park's code-breaking operation, penetrating German Enigma communications, revealed that Wehrmacht commanders expected invasion somewhere along the Atlantic Wall. They didn't know where, when, or with what strength. That uncertainty was the Allies' only advantage. German forces held every other advantage: fortified positions, interior lines, ability to concentrate rapidly once they identified the landing site. Allied assessments calculated that if panzer divisions reached Normandy beaches within 48 hours, invasion forces would be driven into the sea with catastrophic casualties. The entire strategy for winning in Europe depended on buying time for beachheads to consolidate before German reinforcements arrived in overwhelming strength. Colonel John Bevan commanded the London Controlling Section, the small unit responsible for strategic deception. A former stockbroker with no formal intelligence training, Bevan had demonstrated unusual talent for understanding enemy thinking and what information would reinforce existing beliefs. In December 1943, Bevan presented Eisenhower with an assessment that would reshape invasion strategy. According to captured documents and Ultra intercepts, Hitler and German High Command believed the invasion would come at Pas de Calais, the narrowest channel point 21 miles from Dover. German military logic supported this conclusion. Calais offered shortest sea crossing, shortest route to Germany, proximity to V weapon sites bombing London. More importantly, German intelligence had identified a massive Allied army concentrating in southeastern England under General Patton, widely considered by German commanders as the Allies' most dangerous field commander. Wehrmacht intelligence designated this force 1st U.S. Army Group, with German situation maps showing Fusag positioned perfectly for Calais assault with over 50 divisions. What German intelligence didn't know was that 1st U.S. Army Group didn't exist. Not one soldier, not one tank, not one artillery piece. Fusag was phantom, strategic deception created to pin German forces at Calais while real invasion hit Normandy, 150 miles southwest. Operation Fortitude represented culmination of 3 years' intelligence warfare development. Since 1941, British intelligence had captured every German spy sent to Britain, literally every agent the Abwehr dispatched. MI5's double-cross system had turned these captured agents, using them to feed carefully crafted false information back to German handlers. By January 1944, British intelligence controlled 40 double agents, each trusted by German intelligence, each positioned to contribute to Fortitude deception. The challenge was coordinating these channels to tell consistent story, while maintaining security so complete that Germans would never suspect deliberate deception. Lieutenant Colonel David Strangeways understood that successful deception required more than false agent reports. German intelligence employed multiple collection methods: aerial reconnaissance, photographed ports daily, signals intelligence monitored radio patterns, human networks tracked movements, captured soldiers provided interrogation intelligence. Every channel needed consistent evidence that FUSAG existed and prepared for Calais invasion. Strangeways proposed creating complete phantom order of battle, satisfying German requirements across all collection disciplines. This meant constructing dummy landing craft in southeastern ports, visible to reconnaissance aircraft, establishing radio networks mimicking genuine Army group communications, creating false supply depots and training areas, generating paperwork and administrative traffic that would leak through channels to reinforce deception. The critical component was Patton himself. German intelligence considered him the most dangerous Allied commander. Intelligence suggested, Hitler personally believed, Allies would never waste their best general on secondary operations. Wherever Patton went, main invasion would follow. Allied planners recognized this German fixation as psychological vulnerability to exploit. Eisenhower made one of his most difficult command decisions: assign the general Germans most feared to command an army that didn't exist, removing him from actual invasion planning purely to deceive German intelligence. According to staff officers present, when told he would command Phantom Army while others led real forces into combat, Patton's response reflected his frustration at being sidelined for strategic deception purposes rather than leading troops in battle. Technical execution required unprecedented coordination. RAF and Army Air Forces adjusted reconnaissance patterns over southeastern England, ensuring German photographers captured dummy installations while avoiding flights over real invasion preparations. RAF analysts studied German reconnaissance photographs, understanding exactly what Berlin intelligence saw, then adjusted dummies to appear more convincing from altitude. Inflatable Sherman tanks manufactured from rubberized fabric were positioned where German cameras would photograph them. From 5,000 feet, these rubber decoys were indistinguishable from actual M4 tanks. Dummy landing craft constructed from canvas and wood filled southeastern harbors. Technicians installed heating elements in some installations, so German infrared photography would show heat signatures consistent with occupied facilities. Radio deception represented perhaps the most sophisticated element. Every headquarters generates distinctive radio traffic patterns. Traffic analysis, identifying units through radio signatures, was highly developed in German signals intelligence. To create convincing Phantom Army, communications specialists had to generate traffic patterns exactly matching genuine Army group headquarters with subordinate corps, divisions, support units. Small teams transmitted thousands of messages daily: supply requisitions, movement orders, weather reports, personnel transfers, all crafted to create impression of massive force preparing for invasion. Deception teams studied actual radio logs from genuine formations, then replicated communication patterns down to individual operators' sending style. Knowing German signals intelligence could identify units by recognizing distinctive keying patterns of specific radio operators. Human intelligence relied on the double-cross system's controlled agents. Agent Garbo, considered most trusted source in German intelligence network, provided high-level strategic information. A Spanish national whose real name was Juan Pujol Garcia. Garbo had convinced Germans he had recruited extensive sub-network throughout Britain. In reality, Garbo operated alone from London House, inventing sub-agents and fabricating reports that British intelligence crafted to reinforce Fortitude. Through first half of 1944, Garbo's reports to German handlers consistently identified Fusar as primary invasion force, provided details about Patton's command structure, described southeastern port preparations. All false, all carefully coordinated with broader deception, all designed to confirm what German intelligence already believed. By April 1944, ultra-intercepts confirmed Fortitude was achieving strategic objectives. Decrypted German communications showed Wehrmacht assessments consistently placing Fusag in southeast with 50 divisions, identifying Patton as commander, predicting main invasion would target Calais. More importantly, German operational orders revealed success at highest command level. Hitler personally insisted on maintaining powerful panzer reserves near Calais, overruling field commanders arguing for flexible defensive positioning. The 15th Army, Germany's strongest force in France, with 19 divisions, remained concentrated around Calais throughout spring. Rommel deployed strongest fortifications, heaviest guns, most experienced units to defend beaches German intelligence predicted would be invasion targets, beaches Allies had no intention of approaching. The final test came June 6, 1944, when Allied forces hit Normandy beaches. As reports reached German high command, critical question was whether they would recognize Normandy as main invasion or view it as diversion preceding real assault at Calais. At 0300 hours, June 7th, just 24 hours after landings began, Agent Garbo transmitted urgent message to German handlers marked extremely urgent. According to MI5 records, Garbo reported sources detected increased activity at Fusag headquarters in southeast, with units receiving movement orders and radio traffic indicating imminent operations. His assessment concluded Normandy was diversion intended to draw reserves away before Patton launched main invasion with Fusag's 50 divisions across narrowest channel point. The message reached Abwehr within 2 hours, by 0900 hours, June 7th. According to intercepted communications, Hitler reviewed Garbo's assessment. The Führer's response was immediate. Panzer reserves would remain positioned around Calais. The 15th Army would maintain defensive posture. Field commanders requesting permission to move armored divisions to Normandy were denied. For 7 critical weeks following D-Day, as Allied forces fought to expand beachhead and break out into France, German panzer divisions remained north of Seine River, positioned to defend against invasion that would never come, while infantry and second-line units without heavy armor attempted containing Normandy breakout. Intelligence historians calculate Fortitude delayed commitment of German armored reserves to Normandy battle by minimum 6 weeks, time that allowed Allied forces achieving numerical superiority necessary for successful offensive operations. Agent Garbo received recognition, remaining secret for 30 years. In July 1944, German intelligence awarded him Iron Cross for accuracy and strategic importance of his reporting. British intelligence recommended Garbo for MBE, Member of the Order of the British Empire, making him possibly the only person receiving military decorations from both sides in same war. The recommendation noted, Garbo's reports had contributed materially to Allied operations security and saving of Allied lives. What wasn't specified was the calculation underlying that assessment. Analysts estimated Fortitude's success in delaying German reinforcements prevented tens of thousands of Allied casualties during invasion's critical first weeks. The legacy of Operation Fortitude reshaped military intelligence doctrine for decades. For first time in history, intelligence services demonstrated that strategic deception, properly coordinated across multiple channels, could achieve operational effects as significant as conventional military operations. Post-war analysis established Fortitude as model for integrated deception, understanding enemy intelligence collection capabilities, controlling information flow across multiple channels, reinforcing existing enemy beliefs rather than creating entirely new perceptions, maintaining consistency across all intelligence disciplines. American and British intelligence organizations carried these lessons into Cold War operations, developing deception capabilities that would shape superpower confrontations for next 4 decades. The radio operators who transmitted thousands of false messages, double agents who risked execution if discovered, intelligence analysts who crafted each element of false narrative, commanders who approved operations knowing failure would mean catastrophic casualties, all represented form of military service proving as essential to victory as soldiers who stormed beaches. If you enjoyed this military history from World War II, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to World War II Untold Stories for more strategic analysis and personal accounts from history's greatest conflict. Thank you for watching.